Let's take a look at a little hack with MIDI Designer Pro and StreamByter. We're going to break the rules here and set up a MIDI feedback loop using the standalone version of StreamByter hooked up from the output back to the input. Now we have to take some special precautions so we don't have a maximum MIDI muddle with a feedback loop that just locks up your layout. So what we do is in the standalone StreamByter we're going to put a filter that's going to only let very specific type of message through. In the output StreamByter rules, we'll clone, if there's a specific CC we want to watch, we will clone it. Otherwise, we may make a layout, if it's only doing feedback, we'll make the layout in that native format. That means the input StreamByter rules have visibility into some layout control positionings, what's coming out of the output, and what's coming inbound. So you have visibility in here, this module, to implement any relationship between controls and input-output that can be defined in StreamByter code. So let's take a look here at a sample layout. Now the first thing we have to do is we need to open StreamByter and slide over mode. So there we go, we've got it. We'll install the rules, and let's just go look at our connections right here. Connections. And we see StreamByter is hooked up to the input and output there. So let's close that up, slide that out of the way. So you've seen these, we looked at these two before, the switched control, that when the switch is on, the control follows, when the switch is off, it doesn't. Then we have the switched control with memory. When we turn the switch on, it will snap to value. These look very simple, but these are the fundamental building blocks of almost everything we want to do advanced in StreamByter code here. I forgot to mention, there's some helper controls right now that I put in yellow. Normally in a production layout, these would be hidden in play mode so you wouldn't see those. But the yellow are the extra controls we're having to add to make this work. So let's take a look at a couple of things. I think these were in the teaser video. You can do a simple adder, you can do a multiplier, but those aren't really interesting. Let's take our memory situation and expand it. Now we have 3 memory locations. When we get it, one thing with StreamByter, once you have a number of controls, you need to initialize so the StreamByter knows the current position in the controls. In this case, we just have a super control that sends all current values of the subcontrols. So now when you press M1 here, it will load the memory 1 value, M2, M3, etc. We can change those, and you see they follow right along. So that's not fairly interesting. Let's expand this and build it up to 16 controls. Now the example here is maybe you've got a couple hundred presets and you get ready to do a gig, but you don't want to reorder the presets, but you want to be able to step through them in order. So what we can do here is you can say, I want to do preset 209 first, then 476, then 271. Now as we step through these in order, it will do those. So you have ability to have dynamically set up your presets. We can keep building on that. Now you can save multiple sets of the presets, for example, for different gigs you might be doing, and now you can step through those just in order. And once again, they're dynamically adjustable. And so we sort of have the bare bones of a set list manager that I think I'm going to work on a little more and maybe get that posted the next few weeks. The next example is really what sort of delayed me from getting this up. But this was a question that Phil asked in a support email back at the beginning of the year. And the question was, how do you set up a set of subcontrols that keep their relative settings when you operate them with a super control? In this case, you see we can do this. We turn this enable on, and now, you know what I forgot to do, those were not initialized. So let's initialize those, and that will actually send the values back out to StreamByter. So we turn the enable on, and you see that they'll follow right along. Turn enable off. I can adjust them as I want to here. Turn the enable back on, and they will follow. If they bottom out, you see they'll still come back and keep their respective positions, same as they go to the top. So that's one of the two. The second one I'm still working on. I haven't quite figured out how to do it. Those are just a few quick examples. On the layout site, I've got a complete document here that has all the logic for this in the annotated StreamByter code. This is only the beginning of what we can do with this. This also works on the M1 Max, probably a little better because their StreamByter MIDI file is more persistent. On the iPad, if you've let your layout go to sleep, you may have to, it's really simple, just slide this back over so it wakes up and you can slide it back out of view. If you have any questions, please post them on the Q&A site. As I said, I'm going to be working on some more layouts with this. And just as a reminder, MIDI Designer Pro and StreamByter are pretty awesome apps on their own, but they're much better even together. So thanks for Dan and Nick for these awesome apps and keeping them current.